3 o'clock, expect a big shield of rain across the area. Most of it light, some moderate elements, and that will then kind of gradually lift north through the evening hours. Temperatures will be held back, so not as warm as today or certainly yesterday as a result of the wet weather. 40s to around 50. It's a light wind out of the east-northeast near 5 miles an hour. So as the storm intensifies and moves into the Gulf of Maine, that precip shield is going to lift north through Thursday night. That's the projection for midnight Friday morning. Capital region, Berkshire, Southern Vermont on north getting the lion's share of it. It will further break up after that and again turn cold enough so some high spots, Adirondacks, Vermont especially, could see a bit of snow. The mountaintops might get an inch or two out of this, and there might be a wet snowflake or two mixed in to the valley floor. But this will all be in the process of pulling out, so there might not be that much moisture left. Noontime on Friday, it's just cloudy and windy. Temperatures in the 40s, will probably gust something like 20 to 25 again coming up on Friday. Less wind and dry Saturday, but it's a cool day at 46. Sunday, a weak system, so some chance of showers, plenty of clouds. The hills again could be dealing with some snow showers. 40s. 40s on Monday, a brief bounce into the 50s Tuesday, then only low to mid 40s Wednesday with another frontal passage early to midweek.
This is CBS 6 News.
I want to start here tonight with a traffic alert. A couple of accidents to tell you about affecting roads in the area. First, I-90 heading westbound near exit 2 is down to 1 lane right now because of a crash, we're told.
This is all breaking news as we speak. 787 northbound between exits 4 and 5. We are told right now 1 to 2 lanes of traffic have been closed there. You can see the mess, just a lot of headlights there. So if you're going anywhere near those spots, take it easy and leave yourself some extra time, or if you know somebody going there, tell them to find an alternate route. All
right, we wanted to pass that along to you right off the top here. We're also following developing news right now unfolding in Glenville.
Yeah, CBS 6, the first station on the scene along Freeman's Bridge Road. That's where investigators found a badly decomposed body today.
Craig Smith has been on the scene there for hours now. And Craig, I know state police are busy going through the area, asking anyone who's there for information.
For several hours today, this was a busy scene, but for the last 45 minutes or so, it has looked exactly as you see behind me now. Just darkness, no police officers, only police tape surrounding the area where the police were working today. Now take a look at that area. These are pictures we took earlier today of a small creek that runs under Freeman's Bridge Road at the end of Maple Avenue. It was there earlier today that someone noticed the remains late this morning.
I believe it was a surveyor who saw something suspicious underneath the bridge here. We have been able to just visually confirm that we do have a decomposed body down there.
Chief Michael Rinaldi of the Glenville Police Department was joined by state police and the district attorney this afternoon for the early stages of the investigation. The body was found around noontime. Since then, the areas on either end of the creek have been cordoned off. It's a creek that empties into the Mohawk River in an area where 10 years ago, a 17-year-old boy named Craig Freer disappeared. People looking on have wondered if it could be Freer.
Don't know what to tell you. We're not going to even remotely speculate about that right now.
But I mean, you'd be aware they've probably checked this area for him at one point. Right?
They have been very thorough. I can't tell you whether they have or have not checked right here.
Okay. The one other name that came up among passersby is Connor Trapatzos, a College of St. Rose student who disappeared October 15th. Chief Rinaldi said the remains are decomposed to the point where they couldn't tell the gender.
They are going to have to very carefully bag the body and remove anything surrounding it, as much surrounding it as they possibly can. Now,
that autopsy is scheduled for sometime tomorrow. That may be the next thing we learned about this case. And one more point on the Freer case. The investigator who was here today, who's been on top of that case, I'm told by the senior investigator, Drew McDonald, would have been here for any number of cases. So her presence here doesn't necessarily mean that this has anything to do with the Freer case. Anything is possible at this point. We're live in Glenville. Craig Smith, CBS 6 News.
Thank you, Craig. A new flyer just released this afternoon asking for community help in solving last month's quadruple murder in Guilderland. Today, marking 4 weeks now since a family of 4 was found dead inside their home along Western Avenue. Give you a good look coming up at the poster, which is now being passed around the neighborhood. It shows first a picture of the family of 4, the Chen family, and then a picture of just the 2 young boys. It's written in both English and Chinese. The killer is still on the loose tonight, but investigators tell CBS 6 that the public is not in any sort of danger. A Connecticut woman accused of forcing an Albany teenager into prostitution. The New Haven Register reports tonight that a neighbor told police about a crying teen outside of a home in Norwich. The 17-year-old told the neighbor that she had been sexually assaulted. The paper is reporting that Brittany White is now charged with 2 counts of promoting prostitution.
President Obama says he's eager to work with the newly elected members of Congress. The president says he hopes to make the next 2 years as productive as possible. His comments come less than 24 hours after Republicans tipped the balance of power in Washington by winning control of the U.S. Senate. The GOP picked up 7 Senate seats and increased their current majority in the House. One major player, local Republican Elise Stefanik. She is the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. Jennifer Lukey is in the studio tonight. And Stefanik is hoping her age.
Female ever to be elected to Congress, but she's also the first Republican to be elected in that district. And because of both of those factors, she's gaining a lot of national attention.
Tonight, we made a little history in the North Country. I am honored and humbled to be the youngest woman ever elected to the United States Congress and to add an additional crack to the glass ceiling for future generations of women here tonight.
And there were plenty of young women backing Stefanik who were inspired.
She's such a role model, and she's so young, and it's just such a great thing for all of us to see how great she's thriving, and it's been amazing.
I think mostly it's just her leadership qualities that I think are the most impressive to me.
But keeping up the excitement and keeping young voters interested in the political process now that the election is over, well, that will be the challenge.
They get excited by a candidate, they get enthralled by a candidate, they participate in that election, and then they sort of move on. What they really have got to demonstrate is a clear, consistent effort to be part of the political process, because then the politicians, the elected officials, will start to take them and their issues much more seriously.
Less than 40% of registered voters in New York actually voted on Tuesday, and of those, only 20% were under the age of 40.
God bless the United States of America.
Still, Stefanik's victory was large, and today she tells us she'll work to keep young voters engaged, starting with a promise to reach across the aisle.
For the voters who didn't support me, I also hope to prove to them that I will work hard, tirelessly to make sure that we have strong constituent services and that we're bringing forth new solutions.
And as for her history-making night,
I hope the record is broken pretty quickly. I hope that my candidacy encourages women from all political affiliations to step up to the plate and offer themselves for public service.
Now, Stefanik has been crisscrossing the district, 12 counties, for 18 months. So she did tell me that she's going to take just a couple of days off before starting the transition process with Congressman Owens.
Yeah, and the problem with Congress is you have to start running for the next election almost the day after that election. But now, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, I would think all this exposure, national exposure about her being the youngest woman, is probably good for the district.
Yeah, I mean, you look online today, there's all these lists of up and coming and the new face of the Republican Party and all of that. And she says more important than that to her is that it's getting the district some attention, and she's hoping to be able to get on committees because of this exposure that would help the district more.
Use that honeymoon period. All
exactly.
right, thank you very much, Jen Lukey. How about this? Another woman making political history, and that is Utah's Mia Love. You see her right there. She is the first black Republican woman to be elected to Congress, and many say she, too, is a rising star in the GOP. Well, here in New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo beat Rob Astorino by double digits. The two were virtually neck and neck in Albany County, Cuomo with 44% to Astorino's 42%. But for the governor, that's really as good as it got around here. Even though he won statewide, Astorino won every other capital region. In Saratoga County, for instance, Astorino, look at that, 55% to 36% over Cuomo. A similar spread in Rensselaer County, where Astorino had a nearly 20-point lead over the governor. You see the numbers right there. And the lead was 10 points in Schenectady County. Again, the same thing, county after county in the capital region and throughout much of upstate. That breakdown contributing to a bad night for the pollsters in this race. Astorino losing statewide by 14 points. Marist had him down 26 in the last pre-election poll. Siena and Quinnipiac had the margin at 21. Well, it's a wrap in Massachusetts now. Republican Charlie Baker is the governor-elect there. The numbers were close, but his opponent Martha Coakley has conceded now. In Vermont, no winner in that governor's race. Incumbent Democrat Peter Shumlin has a narrow lead over Scott Milne, but he's only got 47% of the vote. By law in Vermont, you need to be above 50% to win, so this will go to the state legislature to decide. Shumlin would be favored there, most experts say. Milne could concede before then. Now, to see a full list of all the election results, you can head to our website, cbs6albany.com. Just click the side arrow on our homepage and then click on Hot Topics.
One man is dead tonight after he's hit by a car along the Northway in Colony. State police telling CBS 6 that 72-year-old Angelo Del Duce Jr. was standing outside of his car on the shoulder of the roadway around 7 this morning. Investigators say that a 3-car crash then happened right near where he was standing, and one of the cars involved hit and killed him. The 3 drivers, they were not seriously hurt. That accident there backed up traffic for close to 5 hours, though, today. Still no word tonight exactly why Del Duce was outside of his car. Massachusetts voters deciding not to repeal a casino referendum over in the Bay State ahead the potential impact that could have on a Capital Region casino and the reasons developers need to keep a close watch on the happenings across state lines. Plus this.
It's why a local veteran who served in 2 wars had this as his flag and what a random act of kindness did to change that.
And this morning's winner of our Great Grocery giveaway is Nancy Cerrone. Congratulations, Nancy. You've just won a $100 grocery gift card. And your next chance to win is tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. The keyword, Porter. Head to cbs6albany.com. Find the contest link on the right side of the screen and enter the keyword. You have until 7 o'clock tonight to enter. Then just make sure you wake up and watch the CBS 6 Morning News 6 a.m. tomorrow to see if you're a winner.
This week, Wayne Brady, Vivica A. Fox, Mel B, and Kat Daly join Craig Ferguson on Celebrity Name Game.
This week at 7:30 on CBS 6. From the opening of the polls to the victory celebrations, CBS 6 was the first to bring you history in the making.
I'm honored to be the youngest female ever elected to the United States Congress.
And first as the balance of power changed.
What a night. What a 7.
Up-to-the-minute coverage on air, online, and on your phone. CBS 6 News.
Introducing the new Subway Simple 6 menu. 6 of our best 6-inch subs like the Italian BMT and tender turkey breast with a 21-ounce drink and a bag of chips for just $6 every day. It's value made simple. Subway.
This jacket at the mall, or this jacket, this shirt, this sweater, and this entire outfit for the same price at Peter Harris. There's always something new and different. Latest fashions, famous labels, lowest prices. Yet just another reason to love Peter Harris.
When La-Z-Boy has its trade-in sale, it's more like a trade-up sale. Trade in, save more. On recliners and chairs, that perfect sofa, or a family-friendly sectional. The cost of trading up just came down. La-Z-Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
I think you might want to sit down because what I'm about to tell you is big. Very big.
Introducing the Toyota Care Lease, combining 2 great ideas, an affordable 2-year lease and Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan that covers services such as oil changes, plus our 24/7 roadside assistance, which includes lockout protection and more. The Toyota Care Lease creates a carefree driving experience so you can focus on all the great places your Toyota will take you.
It all starts at Toyota. Let's go places.
For the perfect holiday gift, think Pandora. Give the gift of a Pandora bracelet.
And special charms to remember forever.
For gold, silver, or sparkle,
come see us at Wits End, where holiday traditions begin.
Bonjour, the feature of the week at Jean Paul is O2 Facial, a luxurious oxygen skincare treatment. Au revoir, à bientôt.
New at 6 tonight, a World War II veteran thanking his community after he deals with a heartbreaking display of disrespect. Jennifer Mullen is live in our studio tonight. Jenny, I know there's a new symbol of this hero's perseverance flying in his front yard in Scotia now.
There is, Greg. John Mull, also known as Bud, is a local veteran who served in 2 wars. He was a police officer in Scotia for 14 years and a volunteer firefighter for 60 years. Bud is 90 years old and recently lost his wife. Well, today, he was part of a random act of kindness. He says he always hears about these stories, but he never expected to be a recipient.
I had no problem at all for years. And then all of a sudden, I would go out, there'd be no flag out there. And one time the flag was gone and a pair of dirty underpants were run up the flag.
That was the first of many disturbing acts of vandalism Bud Mull encountered.
I had hopes at times that maybe it was just some young kids and they would outgrow it, but it just didn't seem to work out that way.
A decorative fence with American flags was also destroyed in the past. All of the flags were broken off and thrown on the ground. Then came a time when Bud could not find his flag, so he called the police. It was later found on the roof of a nearby supermarket.
It just seemed like it was one after another.
That brings us to Halloween of last year.
And they were trying to break the rope and get the flag down. And they pulled so hard they bent the pole and everything at an angle. And the next day there lay the flag and the rope on the ground in the mud.
Bud had had enough. He gave up. He placed a small flag on the side of his house and decided that was better than fixing the pole in his front yard and putting the flag up just to have it go down again.
It can get to you after a while.
But his hope was soon restored when Lila Miles, Bud's cleaning lady, noticed his flagpole was damaged.
I had asked him about his flag, and he started to tear up and told me that he missed having his flag and that somebody destroyed it many times. And at that point, I'm a veteran. He needed to have a flag,
And so Miles talked to her family and then a group of friends, and together they started a collection. Over the weekend, the group dug a hole, poured in the concrete, and up went the pole. Then came Old Glory, and underneath, an Army flag waves.
I just appreciate so much what they did as a group. I don't know what the story is, but boy, it sure looks nice to open the drapes in the morning and see the flag flying out there.
Miles tells me they put the latch where the rope wraps around on the flagpole out of reach, and she hopes whoever was responsible for the destruction of Bud's property will show some more respect and let Bud live in peace. Live in studio, Jennifer Mullen, CBS 6 News.
Certainly deserves that. Thank you, Jenny. Last night's elections may have had an impact on proposed Capital Region casinos. An overwhelming number of voters in Massachusetts decided not to reverse a plan to bring commercial casinos there. Lawmakers paved the way for commercial gaming 3 years ago in the Bay State, and the state even approved plans from a couple of developers. MGM Resorts, for example, set to build a massive casino complex in Springfield, about an hour and a half east of Albany. Had voters gone the other way last night, then the project would have been scrapped. Today, CBS 6 spoke with experts watching the issue closely.
If I was a mayor or a city finance director, I'd be making sure that all the risk was on the casinos, and I wouldn't be counting on a whole lot of money in the short run. Because it's, the industry is depressed, and the number of places the opportunities that people have to gamble has expanded quite substantially.
Many developers vying for a New York casino license mentioned Springfield plans in their presentations. Representatives for the casino proposed in East Greenbush are using their position near the border as a selling point to keep gambling dollars here in New York. Well, Steve says there is some cooler, wet weather coming up in our immediate future.
A live look at CBS 6 Instant Doppler radar right now, and all clear right now. But Steve says things will look much different at this time tomorrow. He's looking at a rainmaker coming together when you can expect it to reach the Capital Region coming up next.
CBS 6 News brought to you by Finkelstein & Partners, winning serious injury lawsuits since 1959.
Why sit through a congested, traffic-filled test drive on Central Avenue? Feel more relaxed and get to know your Mazda better by taking a test drive at Cooley Motors. With over 50 years of sales and service, Cooley Motors, striving to be your #1 dealer.
Bilo. Quality flooring to complement your lifestyle.
My lifestyle.
My lifestyle.
My style.
Flooring for my home at the lowest prices.
I guarantee it.
Do you know an athlete who gives 100%? We want to hear your inspiring stories of a child who gives their personal best.
Go to CBS6Albany.com, click on Personal Best, and nominate an athlete. Sponsored by Capital Region Orthopedics, the bone and joint specialists.
Traditions are often reflected in the simplest things, like using the same time-honored ingredients for your family's favorite recipes. Those traditions are important at Jones Dairy Farm, too. That's why our all-natural sausage is made with the same 3 honest-to-goodness ingredients we started with more than 125 years ago. No MSG, nitrates, or preservatives. Our original family sausage recipe is a tradition we cherish, and you will too. I'm Philip Jones. Join in our family tradition of great taste.
Need a remodeler? Not anymore. Let Otterbeck Builders take your outdated kitchen or bath and turn them into a new refreshed look and feel that you've been longing for. From design to completion, we will guide you step by step through planning and executing a stress-free quality remodeling project. Call Otterbeck today.
It's a Veterans Day celebration at DePaula Chevrolet, where we salute our troops with savings. Right now, you can drive home with 0 down, 0 first month's payment, and 0 security. New Equinox, 0 down, just $245 a month. That's 0 down, $245 a month. And for every car sold, we're making a donation to Homes for Our Troops to build specially adapted homes for our most seriously wounded veterans here in New York and across the country. It's a Veterans Day celebration where we salute our troops with savings at DePaula Chevrolet, DePaula.com.
CBS 6 News with Steve LaPointe, the Weather Authority.
Did you happen to see this neat feature in the sky this afternoon? This very, very sharp clearing line that came across the area. Dave posting this to my Facebook page. He was looking northwest from the Fort Anne area. This was not the frontal passage. The front itself came through between 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. This was just the back edge of the cloud deck, which lingered behind that front. And in this case today, it happened to be a very, very sharp line. So kind of impressive. That clearing line has now moved south and east of the capital region. Some low clouds across the north country. But for a time tonight, most of us will clear out. Should allow temperatures down into the upper 30s. Clouds, though, will start to come back late at night. And those clouds eventually will lead to rain tomorrow. Might be a bit of a slow start in terms of the rain coming in, but I think gradually through especially the mid to late morning and into the afternoon, we'll see wet weather. Temperatures cooler as well. I'm expecting highs closer to 50 versus the 60-degree weather we had today. Right now, 48 at Albany, 41 at North Adams with Bennington at 45, and Pittsfield at 46. So as we've seen the clouds thinning on out, temperatures are in fact starting to drop. So again, most of us will wind up in the upper 30s tonight. Places like Glens Falls, Gloversville, it's closer to mid 30s with a light and variable wind. So the front now moving off the New England coast. Very weak bubble of high pressure coming in for a short time overnight tonight. We've got a storm system that's now moving through portions of the upper Mississippi River Valley. Some rain and even some snow with this. There was some accumulating snow across central northern Minnesota. It's now moving into northern Wisconsin. And the rain along the southern end of that front now across Kentucky, which is blossoming. These two systems are going to come together. The low, vigorous, moving to the east will draw the front in this moisture north, and we'll eventually see a new low forming south of the coast coming up tomorrow, and that will be our rainmaker. But again, it looks to be a relatively slow start. 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, cloudy but dry. And as we move through mid-morning, best opportunities for rain will run from the Mohawk Valley, Capital Region, and Berkshires on south. And then through the afternoon, everybody gets wet. It's a solid area of rain that likely develops 1, 2 to 3 o'clock. Most of it light, some moderate elements, and that will then continue to lift north as we move through the evening hours. Temperatures again held back a little bit because of the wet weather. Most of the day in the 40s, might just get to 50 or 51 with a light east to northeasterly wind. Through the overnight period, Thursday night into Friday morning, the rain lifts north, but for much of the night from the Capital Region, Berkshires on north, it will be wet, and this will tend to break up, become more showery in nature. And towards daybreak Friday, a little wet snow certainly could mix in the hills. Vermont and the Adirondacks especially. Hilltops could get an inch or two. And then we see everything kind of winding down through the morning on Friday. As the storm pulls out, it's windy, it's cooler, with temperatures generally in the 40s. We get a break on Saturday. No precipitation, 46, but some light showers might mix with some snowflakes in the hills on Sunday. That's a weak weather system. Monday looks dry. Tuesday night, the next front, we might pop in temperatures into the 50s Tuesday, but then it's only low to mid 40s on Wednesday. So the trend overall, Greg and Dory, is for cooling, that's for sure.
All right, thank you from the trendy Steve LaPointe.
Always trendy.
Yeah.
Well, which freshman is poised to be Sienna's biggest contributor for the season ahead? The answer here is just ahead.
Plus, CBA is bound for another Super Bowl behind its solid ground game and a coach who knows all about running the football. Stay tuned. Doug's coming up next with sports.
Lucas Appliances has over 30 brands available and is a member of a nationwide buying group to save you money. This Veterans Day weekend, every GE appliance at super low prices. Special rebates on select General Electric models. For quality and dependability, choose GE. Remember, only Coco's offers free 3-year parts and labor protection. That's 3 times the normal warranty. Better pricing, better selection, and the best free warranty equals the best deal.
No, what is surgery?
I needed more money, but I didn't want to have to get a second job. My buddy asked me how much I was paying for my new truck, and then he told me I was getting ripped off. He told me to go to Sunmark, So I did. They refinanced my loan and helped save me $50 a month. That's $1,200 over the next 2 years. A Brian with a new truck and money in his pocket is a happy Brian.
Look for the sun.
I never thought you'd change.
I know. Until Time Warner Cable offered more HD, ultra-fast internet, and unlimited nationwide calling, all together for the first time for $89.99 with free installation and the TV equipment's included.
But what about
movies on Epix? Comes with the package. They're saving me over $900. So if Time Warner Cable can change for the better, why can't I?
Oh, Jagger.
Call now to get free installation. Try it, love it, or your money back guaranteed. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
I'm Ray Blesser, and I want to be your jeweler. I first made that statement many years ago. A lot has changed since then, but it rings as true today as ever. I've always wanted to be your jeweler, and I still do. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what kind of car you drive. My only concern is you walking out of Northeastern Fine Jewelry with a smile on your face. Stop in and show us how we can make that happen. I'm Ray Blesser, and I want to be your jeweler.
CBS 6 Sports with Doug Sherman.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Super Bowl week for Section 2 football. The Class AA championship has come down to CBA in Shenendehowa, and it will be played Friday night at Bob Ford Field. In the meantime, both sides are hard at work preparing for the showdown. As a team this season, CBA has rushed for nearly 2,300 yards, led by Jalen McIntyre, who has over 1,000 by himself, and by Ben Anthony and Nasir Toon, who has missed some practice time this week due to illness. Now, Brothers head coach Joe Burke knows all about running the football effectively. The former Bishop McGinn standout was a running back at Rutgers who played briefly in the NFL during the 1987 players' strike. It's a pedigree not lost on Burke's players.
We know he's made it to the league before. He knows his stuff, so whenever he talks, we have to listen to it.
Coach Burke's a great coach. He's always telling the running backs, put your foot in the ground and get downhill. Even the offensive linemen would know how to run the ball after listening to him all practice.
I love coaching running backs. I don't do it full-time here, but this time of the year, I can spend more attention on it.
Tomorrow night on CBS 6, we will break down CBA's upcoming opponent, Shenendehowa. Of the three freshmen on the roster, it seems pretty clear right now that Jimmy Page is the one who is most poised to contribute right away for Siena. Listed at 6'4" and a very solid 211 pounds, Page has a nose for the ball. He competes, hits the glass, makes plays, and can knock down a jump shot. That sort of versatility should earn minutes immediately in a relatively deep rotation. Page is an honor student. He grew up in Ohio on the West Virginia border. He played his high school basketball last winter in Virginia Beach. Siena plays its exhibition with Division II Gannon at the Arc on Saturday. The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference will announce its preseason poll and award winners this evening. Siena is expected to be picked somewhere in the top three alongside Iona and Manhattan. St. Peter's and Quinnipiac will also be in the mix. The Albany Devils had an 11 a.m. start today in Hartford, and despite Paul Thompson's league-leading 9th goal, the Wolfpack prevailed 3-1. Scott Clemenson took the loss, and former RPI engineer Ryan Haggerty scored his second of the season for Hartford. Alex Rodriguez reportedly admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs to the DEA back in January and also paid his cousin $1 million to keep his mouth shut. Major League Baseball suspended A-Rod for the 2014 season because of PEDs. Oh, good. He'll be reporting to Yankee spring training camp on February 25th. And finally, both Saratoga Springs and Burnt Hills Ballston Lake won their state regional field hockey semis today. The Blue Streaks and the Spartans both advance.
Was there sarcasm in there?
Maybe just a touch.
Did I catch that? All right. Yeah. Thank you, Doug.
Okay. Well, stick around. CBS 6 News at 6:30. Coming right back at you here next.
Closed captioning sponsored by Albany Medical Center. Now seeing patients in more than 30 community locations.
J.D. Power has ranked Window World highest in overall customer satisfaction with windows and patio doors for 2 years in a row. Beautiful, energy-efficient products, award-recognized customer satisfaction. Window World, simply the best for less.
People my age think that they're invincible. When I was playing football, flying down the sidelines, next thing you know, I'm getting pushed. That's all she wrote. Ended up breaking my neck. If you don't have insurance, that turns on you quick. I have CDPHP. Being a member of CDPHP means security. You never know what tomorrow brings.
Can you believe Thanksgiving is just around the corner?
Wits End has everything you'll need.
Festive decorations and candy.
Fun serving utensils and platters.
Decorative centerpieces.
Garland and wreaths.
Happy Thanksgiving
from all of us at Wits End.
I never thought you'd change.
I know. Until Time Warner Cable offered more HD, ultra-fast internet, and unlimited nationwide calling, all together for the first time for $89.99, with free installation and the TV equipment's included.
But what about
movies on Epix? Comes with the package. They're saving me over $900. So if Time Warner Cable can change for the better, why can't I?
Oh, Jagger.
Call now to get free installation. Try it, love it, or your money back guaranteed. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Did you notice? Did you notice that financial planners seem more interested in his new gold watch than your retirement goals? Time marches on, and you're no closer to your gold watch. It's different at Fagan Associates. Nothing fancy. Two brothers and their staff in an office that's paid for. They've been here for 25 years, providing clients now in 22 states with sound financial planning. Why have so many stayed for so long with Fagan Associates? Because people stick with success. Fagan.
It's value made simple.
Every Window World window comes with a true lifetime warranty. If it breaks, we fix it, even the glass.
Wow, really?
Even if we only buy one window? One window, 10 windows, it doesn't matter. Window World, simply the best for less. We've got you covered.
This is CBS 6 News.
A grisly find. The investigation underway right now after police pull a body out of a creek.
Plus, what caused this crash, which killed a man and snarled traffic on the Northway this morning for hours. And
I wish the record had been broken earlier.
She's the country's youngest woman ever elected to Congress, the issue she's set to take on now that she's about to go there. Good evening, I'm Greg Floyd.
And I'm Dory Marlin. We are following developing news off the top tonight in Glenville. Police discovering a badly decomposed body in a creek running under Freeman's Bridge Road.
CBS 6 was the first news crew on the scene. Craig Smith reports police are now trying to figure out just what happened.
The next thing we expect to learn is whatever tomorrow's autopsy reveals. The body was removed from a small creek that runs behind me under Freeman's Bridge Road at the end of Maple Avenue.
I believe it was a surveyor who saw something suspicious underneath the bridge here. We have been able to just visually confirm that we do have a decomposed body down there.
Chief Michael Rinaldi of the Glenville